Greetings people, welcome to part 2 of my module rundown. On to the third row. First up we have a 3340 VCO. I've taken some tips from Thomas Henry's VCO Maximus to add the additional sync inputs and fine tune. There's only a few components required. Check out Thomas Henry's VCO Maximus. This was initially based on Look Mum No Computers layout. I shrinkified it a bit and then just added the extra components from Thomas Henry's schematic. Next along, that's another 3340 VCO. That's in a smaller panel, running out of space again, so that's pretty much the same as the previous module. Right, next along is my current favourite. That's the Music Thing radio, and I've got the CV firmware in, so I can play that chromatically. I got 2 PCB sets from Thonk. They're only £9 each. Okay, the Teensy's £20. They didn't have any panels, so I had to make that panel. I've loaded some general MIDI samples on it to see how it would play. Yeah, all the notes are quantized chromatically. They're not quantized to scales. That could possibly be changed in the code. And the second knob down there, that will quantize a root note as well. And putting that through a filter, it is a great lo-fi rompler. I do like that, and I'll be using that a lot. Right, next along is behind the gubbins. Right, that is the Electric Druid Wave Runner, I think it is, not the Wave Rider. There's an LFO, and this is another oscillator with a set of waves that you can scan through. This is quantized as well. You don't need a quantizer for this. Takes a little bit of tweaking, and the notes are quantized. It's got a sub oscillator, glide, a little bit of distortion, and some CV inputs. Now that did take quite a while to lay out, and Frequency Central do a PCB for this with more CV control. I would definitely check out that Frequency Central PCB set, and I think they supply the chip with that as well. It's not expensive, and it's going to give an alternative to these common 3340 VCOs. Right, next along, that's just bear with me. Right, okay, I can't find a screwdriver. Right, next along, using finger, that is just 3 passive attenuators, so 3 ins, 3 outs, and attenuation knobs. Next along is another Music from Outer Space state variable filter. I've got 3 of these. Next along is my quad VCA. That was based on the Bastel Quattro Figaro. That's out of production now, I think, or a slimmed down version of that schematic. That was a bit of a nightmare to build, but you know, I've got my 4 VCAs there. But I'm using a different layout now. I've done a video on that on dual VCA. And next along is more Atiny 85 chips. There's a noise generator and it's kind of like Atari Punk Console FM noise generator. Now I could link to the uploader of the code for those chips, but I can't remember who it was. These are Tiny85 chips you can program with an Arduino Nano with a few jumper wires. So check out some, see if you can find any links to that at Tiny85 projects. And the last row is it's a dual LFO. I think that's probably in Music from Outer Space with triangle-ish and square outputs with rate and 2 switches for different rate. Different rate, full stop. Right, next along is the as the sample and hold. I've done a video on that. And right next to that, the red LED is Electric Druid voltage controlled LFO. I think that's on the, this is done with the Look Mum No Computer layout. It's a stripped down version basically. Really good LFO. I don't know, I think the chip's about £5. Don't think there's a great deal of extra circuitry for that. Next along is another dual LFO with three outputs. I think that's Music from Outer Space. There's loads of LFO schematics out there. This is an MS-20 style filter based on the Look Mum No Computer layout. If you can't get this to work, reduce the input. If it's not working properly, I think that, and you've built it correctly, then reduce the input level. It basically just overdrives it and doesn't work. Something like that. It's been quite a while since I built it, but that solved any non-working issues, and I think that's where people are coming unstuck. Next along, those 2 grey knobs, that is another Music from Outer Space state variable filter. Got 3 of those and 1 MS-20 style. And then finally is the 2x3 input panning mixer, which I've done a video on. And that's really where all the generated sounds are coming from. And then they go up to a mixer. And even if you've got a small mixer with 2 stereo inputs, and you build my 2x3 stereo mixer, then you've got a pretty good setup there. Well, that's giving you some idea of my rig, giving you some idea of some modules you might want to look into, give you a little bit of inspiration, hopefully. Well, that's it. Thanks very much for watching, and perhaps we'll meet again.